All right, grade fives, our Manning Park trip is just a couple of days away now, so there are a couple of things that we're going to need to talk about before we leave. One, I want to show you right now in this little video, is how to make an emergency candle. This is going to be kind of a project for you over the weekend. If you or someone in your group wants to take it on, you'll need these for our last night of the trip. All you need to start with is a empty tuna can. Here you can see one. Tuna. Still smells a bit like tuna, so you might want to wash that out unless you want a tuna-scented emergency candle, which you probably don't. So once you have your empty tuna can, the next thing you're going to need are some strips of cardboard, which I have cut out for you and I can provide for you. Ooh, look at that. Nice strip of cardboard. There it is. You're also going to need a supply of paraffin wax. I found this box in our art room. Look, it's like from 1975, but it's still good. You wouldn't want to eat that, not just because it's old, but also because it's wax. So don't eat wax. Look at that nice picture, huh? It's been in our art room for more than 40 years, I think. So you can take some of that home with you as well. Cardboard strip, tuna can, wax. First thing you're going to want to do is start to coil that cardboard strip up into a nice little coil. Now this is going to come undone in a second because what we're trying to do is just get the cardboard sort of bent in such a fashion as that will fill the interior of this tuna can. So it's a little bit of muscle work with your hands here, twisting, 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 twisting. There you have a nice, look at that, isn't that nice? Now, put that inside, it'll kind of unwrap, but it will take nicely to the inside edges of the tuna can. You're gonna need another strip. Look at that, I already did a couple. So I'll recoil this one up a bit. Coiling, 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 good. Almost done, good. In the tuna can, bam, there you go. Now, you're gonna probably need one more strip. I am gonna try and jam one more in there because you kind of want it to be nice and tight. So here's my last attempt. I'm gonna have to do this one really, really tightly here. A bit hard on the old fingers, but you could get some help with this too. If you rub the cardboard strip back and forth on a table, it'll also help to break it up a little bit and make it easier to twist. There you go. Look at that. Not so bad at all. Now I have to get this one inside the middle here, so with a little bit of twisting, it goes bam right in. Look at that. Beautiful. Tuna can and cardboard. So the next thing you're going to want to do is add some little wicks. Now I've cut up some bits of string and twine here into little pieces. Then you're just going to kind of jam those into the coiled up cardboard. Now eventually when you do light this candle, the whole surface burns, so it's kind of like a little stove. But when you're initially lighting it, you need something for the flame to sort of set upon. So that's what those wicks are for. Next thing we need to do is melt our wax. Now I'm using a hot plate, an old hot plate from the art room that has been pretty much used for things like this. So it doesn't really matter that I'm melting it right in the hot plate, but when you're doing this at home, you're going to want to work with a parent to figure out how you'll do this, because you don't want to just do this in a frying pan or a pot, because it will, make the inside of your pot or frying pan all waxy. So one of the ways that you could do this is by putting a bowl inside a pot of water, melting the wax inside the bowl, which is floating inside the boiling water. You and your parent can figure out one of the various methods that you can melt this wax safely at home. Do it on a low temperature, not too hot, because you don't want the wax to catch fire. Wax melts at a fairly low temperature. Here you can see the last little bit of my wax melting, and now it is a hot, liquidy wax, which you need to be very careful with. You need to have a parent assisting you at every stage here, because we don't want you to get hurt. But once the wax is melted, you are going to want to do the last step here, which is to very, very carefully pour the wax into the coiled up cardboard in the tuna can. The cardboard will absorb the wax. The wax will fill the spaces between the cardboard and will give you essentially a large candle. Here you can observe the process. I've put something down beneath the tuna can just so that I don't make any unnecessary mess, pouring this in carefully and evenly. You will probably need to use two sticks of, or two cubes of wax here to fill that thing up. This is the first one. Do this in several stages, because once the cardboard kind of absorbs the wax, you'll notice that the level of the wax comes down a little bit. But after you do this a couple of times, you will be able to fill this thing right up to the top. Set it aside somewhere to cool. You could put it in the freezer or fridge to speed up that process. Here you can see the last little bits going in slow motion for some reason. I'm not sure why this part is in slow motion, but observe the wax going into the tuna can. Exciting. Okay, so after it's all cooled down, this is what a final product might look like. Notice that the wax is sort of covering the whole surface. When you light those wicks, once it sort of starts to get going, the whole surface will produce a nice low flame that will burn for many, many hours and could keep the inside of a snow shelter relatively warm compared to the outside, and could be a big help if you found yourself in an emergency situation, which we won't be in, but still, we can simulate that process together next week. Looking forward to the trip. See you guys later.